What a show we got yesterday, both Amsterdam and London. Hello there, I'm Adrian, welcome to Rabona TV, and 2 of the 8 quarterfinals have presented themselves, quarterfinalists that is, so congrats to them. But my mind is already on Portugal versus Belgium. It's feeling anxious. Anyway, let's get to yesterday's matches. Amsterdam welcomed Wales and Denmark. Denmark without Yussuf Poulsen, and the early exchanges were fairly back and forth until the 9th minute when Denmark inexplicably gave Bale far too much room just outside the 18 and his swerving strike just passed by the wrong side of the post. From there, Wales started to have some sustained possession. They were looking dangerous. Gareth Bale dropping deeper and into that, inside right channel to make use of his ability on the ball in tight areas, and of course, his fantastic distribution. That was a major boon to Wales in this one, as Bale was consistently drawing 2, 3, 4 times defenders around him in order to try and cut off the danger at the source. But of course, that meant that if he got the pass off, his teammates would often be in space in those first 15 minutes or so. But wouldn't you know it, Kasper Dolberg, the replacement for Yussuf Poulsen, the injured Yussuf Poulsen, upon his return to the Johan Cruyff Stadium, Dolberg that is, found space on the edge of the box and hit a stunning curling strike that Ward didn't have a hope of saving. Damsgaard nearly set him up for a second a few minutes later, but Ward came out and cut the angle down well. Besides that 10 to 12 minutes in which Wales were causing issues for Denmark, it was the Danes who looked the most dangerous going forward. Damsgaard, Braithwaite was lively, Dolberg was definitely in form. The player that he's always sort of threatened to be. I also liked what I saw from them with Andreas Christensen in the midfield sitting just in front of the back line to ensure that when they were defending deep, it would become a back 5 with Christensen slotting into the back line and Højbjerg and Delaney sitting in front, which was very, very tough to break down, wasn't it? And tough to recover from conceding just 2 minutes into the second half, but that's exactly what happened to Wales. Another driving run from Braithwaite. The man is so direct. It's fun to watch him. And while his ball into the box wasn't great, the clearance from Wales was even worse. Mishit straight to Dolberg once again, and he smashed it past Ward once again. No chance for the keeper. 2 goals for Dolberg, and you really can't say that they didn't deserve it, can you? Denmark's game management from there on out really impressed me. I mean, they contained Wales, who never really had an answer when it came to circumventing the Danish defense, even with the changes they made in taking off important players like Delaney, Kjær, Strikker Larsen. Denmark was still fantastic in defense and a threat going forward. Cornelius drove at the Wales back line time and time again. Braithwaite continued to be a pest and honestly probably should have scored in the 85th minute, but his scrambled attempt rolled wide. But don't worry, he'd get one later. Later, Mela found himself in space, cut inside, and rifled the ball into the top corner near post for 3-0, his second of the tournament. Then Braithwaite and Cornelius combined, with Braithwaite again cutting inside and hitting one low past Ward. I mean, this got ugly for Wales. It really did. I was surprised at the gulf in class between the two sides, to be honest with you. Besides, within the first 12 minutes or so, there weren't many instances in which Denmark seemed like they would be troubled by Wales, and they've definitely established themselves as a genuine threat in this tournament. I knew Denmark would be a good team. They consistently are a good team, a very difficult team to beat that didn't always carry enough of a threat going forward, but they absolutely have that now, don't they? 4-0 is nothing to sneeze at, and they will await the winner of the Netherlands versus Czech Republic feeling absolutely optimistic that they have a great chance in this next round. Italy versus Austria, and thankfully for the Austrians, Franco Foda stuck with the formation and set up from his match against Ukraine. Alaba as left back, Sabitzer as their creator in the midfield. For Italy, with Verratti performing so well against Wales and in full health now, Locatelli was the unfortunate odd man out in the midfield. The rest was as you were, same lineup as against Switzerland. And it was actually the Austrians who looked the better team in the first 10 minutes or so, as Italy were slow out of the blocks, and the Austrian press was doing well to keep them in their own end. But as the half progressed, they started to see more of the ball. The Italians, that is. They started to get forward, they tested Bachmann a few times, and they dominated possession with Austria on the back foot. This is when we saw that Austrian 4-2-3-1 collapse into a compact 4-5-1 in defense, with 9 men behind the ball, Arnautovic completely isolated up front. Hinteregger and Dragovic were excellent, while Alaba made some clutch tackles and interventions as well. The closest Italy came was probably Immobile's strike from outside the 18 that clipped the post. Other than that, the saves that Bachmann made were quite tame, to be honest with you. I think that after the 45 were up, both teams would have been relatively happy. The only complaint from Italy being perhaps, the lack of clear-cut chances that they were able to generate. And in the second half, we saw a similar trajectory to the first, with Austria dictating the play and getting the better of the chances. I was really impressed with this Austrian team, actually, as they certainly looked the more dangerous team going forward. And Arnautovic's header going off the bar and in was certainly not against the run of play in that second half. But unfortunately for him, he was about a boot offside, a boot ahead of the play. Very, very, very unfortunate for the Austrians. And their bad luck continued when Pessina had fouled Lehner during a free kick, but it wasn't given as a penalty since Lehner was in fact offside by a little bit. Super unfortunate for the Austrians. They just couldn't catch a break in this match. It wasn't a match of excellent chances, really, and after 90 minutes, they were still locked at 0-0. But in extra time, finally, with Chiesa on the pitch, he has carried on from where he left off with Juve. A great ball across the box from Spinazzola, who was great again, if not pinned back a bit by Lehner, at least more so than during the group stage. Chiesa headed it down, and from a tight angle, he managed to slam it past Bachmann. Finally a breakthrough for Italy, or at least a breakthrough that counted, I should say, as Austria, they had the breakthrough earlier. Finally, some composure from an Italian attacker, and finally, this great Austrian defense was beaten. Chiesa really has been in great form in 2021, hasn't he? He was a standout performer against Wales as well, and is a great example of just how much quality Mancini has on the bench. When it wasn't working with Verratti and Berardi out there, he can bring on Chiesa and Locatelli. Not bad. And once they got one, Austria opened up a little too much, understandably so. And another followed quickly after another substitute, in Pessina doubled Italy's lead. I mean, you got to feel for Austria, who were just inches away from leading themselves in the second half, who were maybe a foot away from getting a penalty themselves in the second half. They were doing so well, but the class of the Italians couldn't be held off forever, and their quality at the back was put to the test as well. You don't have a ridiculous clean sheet record with a poor defense or keeper, and Donnarumma showed that as he got down quickly to his left and made a fantastic save. What a shot stopper this kid is. But he couldn't stop that incredible header from Sasha Kalajic, could he? At the near post in the 113th minute to make the end of this match extremely exciting. The defensive record abolished from a freak sort of goal from Kalajic. You'd never expect someone to score a header from that kind of angle. And they held on for the win. 2-1 Italy as they move on. Austria can absolutely be proud of themselves for how they fought in this match, for how they pushed Italy right to the end, ended their clean sheet record, how at times they were genuinely the side that looked the more dangerous in the attack, and for making their first knockout round in a major tournament as well. I feel for them because I think a lot of people expected Italy to win this one comfortably, but no goals in 90 minutes. Though Austria were close. 3 goals in extra time, 2-1 Italy by a very narrow margin. So after the first day of matches, Denmark, Italy, they come out on the other side, and we'll find out who they will be playing today. Italy playing the winner of Belgium versus Portugal, and Denmark playing the winner of Czech Republic versus Netherlands. Now I must prepare myself for the match today. If you want to watch it with me, we will be doing a watch along today, so feel free to join myself and the mods. I thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao!